Okay, hello.
Hey now.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
This is episode 3 of
Trace.
the podcast. We did 2, and now this is the third one.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, that sounds like
Bad things always come in threes.
yeah.
Yeah.
3 Musketeers.
3 Musketeers. 3 Amigos.
3 Amigos, that's right. We're only two amigos today.
That's right.
But I had some questions that I wanted to ask, and stuff to talk about, I suppose.
Well, shit dang, let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. What was the first concert you ever went to?
It's gonna be Chicago.
Oh.
Rotating. I saw Chicago at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. Is on a rotating stage.
Well, that's cool.
Spins around.
I've never seen a concert with the rotating stage.
It was cool. Like, part of the time you see the back of the band. The rest, everybody gets to see the band at some point, which I think is the best. Every place should have a rotating stage.
I can't imagine performing on that stage. If you have a couple too many cocktails, you might get sick.
It's got its advantages. It makes me think of all the concerts I've gone to in huge, like when we saw Dead and Company play with the Forum West or whatever, Fillmore West. They were playing. They had the giant projected Dead thing behind it, but and you can it wrapped all the way around. But if you went behind it, you could still hear the music, but you were looking at the back of the band.
Right, oh no, at the Forum.
The Forum.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh hey, I'm here. It's fine, but I'm watching the back of the band.
Sometimes though, there's a little bit more space. Depending on what your MO is at a concert. Right up front, down in the front, running the rail. You're getting smashed up.
Sure. With the you build a circle, you put a rotating stage in, everybody gets the full.
Put it in the middle. Yeah.
A full bit of it. What was your first show?
Well, see, you said Chicago, and then that had to make me rethink about, what shows I might have seen before I was into music.
I think I was 14.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So the first one that really stands out in my mind wasn't a real concert per se. I was at the mall with my dad, and we went. I used to go to Sam Goody. Remember that?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, Sam Goody. And I went in there, and Eve 6 was playing a little. They had their amp set up and the drums and the guitar, and the whole place was full of people. And
what was their song? What did they do?
Inside Out. Yeah, find nothing but faith in nothing.
Oh yeah,
that one. And that was really cool. I was I don't know what. I think it might have come out in '98 or something, and that they were in support of that. Yelling going out downstairs. But yeah, it wasn't an actual concert. The first pay for a ticket and go get shaken down by the bouncer and go inside was the House of Blues in Chicago. I saw Goldfinger. Goldfinger, and they had they had Dynamite Hack open for them. Remember that they did the acoustic version of that Boys in the Hood song.
Gosh, let me think. I was a freshman or sophomore. 97 or 98, Goldfinger played 366 shows in 1 year.
That's crazy.
It's more than a show a day.
That's more than a show a day. That takes a lot of and they're probably not playing a show every single day. They probably play 2 shows on a day, and
I would definitely. That's what I would think.
And that takes a lot out of you.
That's still 180 days of performing.
Yeah,
if you're doing 2 shows, more than that, 2 shows a day.
A couple years ago, I remember reading something about the Flaming Lips set the record for most concerts played in different states in a day. They did 7 shows in one day in 5 different states or something like that.
Must have been on the East Coast. There's no way you can get that many places on the West Coast that fast. On the East Coast, you can get to I could definitely see getting to 5 states in a day.
Now we're back.
Hey guys, howdy doody. We had a little bit of the old technology.
Yeah, a little snafu. Gonna have that from time to time.
What were we saying?
We're talking
Flaming
about
Lips, 5 days.
7. I'll put the numbers up on the screen, but there was something like 7 shows in 5 different states in one day.
That's got to be the East Coast, like I was saying. There's no way you could get that far that fast on the West Coast.
Definitely not. There's the 4 corners though. You could get you'd have to strategically place where the venues were to be able to get from one to another.
Sure. Yes. I mean, I'm sure you could do 5 shows set. I'm sure you could do that. It just seems, yes, the East Coast makes much more sense.
It makes a lot more sense. Now, was that Chicago concert you went to the best concert you ever saw?
No.
What to your recollection is the best concert you've ever been to?
That's a tough one. Best concert, musical performance, best concert at the time that I had. Maybe those are two separate things.
Well, it's really whatever you take out of it. Like if you've gone to a concert and just partied down, and that was the best time you ever had in your life, then that would qualify for the best concert in my mind.
Is a concert something that I pay to go to?
I would say a concert in my mind is someplace where there's a band playing music for an audience. I suppose that could be an orchestra or a jazz band or rock and roll.
Is a band playing music for an audience mean a band that is like chosen to be a band with like prearranged song selection, or like spur of the moment music? Because I would go to rainbow gatherings.
Sure.
I would say I've definitely experienced some really sublime moments of musical inspiration there. But all that stuff is like improv. It's never recorded. No one ever gets to hear it again. Maybe that is some of the magic. Is it's like
absolutely
very personal and ours. I mean, gosh, back in those late 90s, I definitely went to the Warped Tour a couple times. I think that was like really fun. I
loved going to the Warped Tour.
I mean, I've had a lot of fun at Dead shows. We saw Two Bob Crew, and that was like a really good show.
That was an interesting show too, because the Two Bob Crew is a band that's I had first seen on like the festival circuit, playing for thousands of people in a big festival setting, and they came through Sacramento a couple years ago, and maybe a dozen people showed up, and they still jammed. They still really played with all they had, even though and it was a very interesting contrast, because there's a lot of energy give and take when there's 1,000 people there and you're playing music for them, and to be able to kind of conjure some of that up to play for a room full of 12 people and still kind of do your thing well, it's impressive.
That was a talented show. Two Bob Crew. The guy plays a kora, which is like a 7 to 30 stringed instrument, it's like a gourd.
So it's like a harp.
It's very similar to a harp.
Yeah,
play it with the thumbs. It's a funky looking thing.
It sounds very interesting, and they, put that over some awesome percussion, and then kind of a laid back mellow jam vibe. It's very interesting, very unique.
It's good stuff. Best time. I mean, the last Further show was 2012?
Maybe 2013.
Maybe 2013? 2013 does sound right.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I was running around trying to find swagweed in downtown San Francisco. New Year's Eve, the last Further show, like the culmination of highest concentration of drugs on the planet.
Yeah, San Francisco.
I'm running around. I'm like asking home bums if they have any swagweed. I've got money and dank weed to trade. Everyone's like, "Nah, man, I just got these beasters with hash in it." I was dying. I had an aluminum can. I was 100% ready. No one had swagweed. They didn't understand. It's crazy, but that was a good time. Zooming around, got a bunch of miracles. That whole 3 days there, I think the whole crew racked up more than a dozen miracles to disperse amongst ourselves and other people.
That was the miracles were going that time. That does segue into another thing on my checklist of things that I wanted to talk about. What's the most intoxicated person you've ever seen at a concert?
We went to go see NoFX for New Year's.
Sure.
And our friend died in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I didn't see him dead, but he was alive. He got brought back to life, but he died.
He had too much heroin and overdosed.
Secondhand, I know that our friend died. He had that much fun at a concert. He was intoxicated.
That doesn't sound like fun.
I've seen so many drunk people at so many concerts. Like, how blacked out were they? I don't know. Is blacked out? Like, are there different levels of blacked out?
Well, we were at a festival one time, and there was this guy with his pants around his ankles trying to pull off his pecker.
Just rip it off.
Yeah.
He don't want it anymore.
Something was going on.
He was upset.
He had a few too many glasses of Chardonnay and decided that it was it had to go.
Was he happy, though?
He didn't seem happy.
He's like, oh, yeah.
No.
He was like,
he seemed
no more.
Agitated, I would say.
Upset. He wasn't saying anything.
No, nothing I could decipher.
What's that even called? Penectomy? Gosh, yeah, I would never try to do that.
It just seems like a bad idea. Because once the drugs or whatever wear off the next morning, and you wake up and your Johnson's gone, that's going to be a bad hangover.
Yeah, dude, totally. I was in jail one time. Me and my friends were squatting, and woke up and we got arrested, and we were in jail. And while we were in jail in the holding tank, they brought in a blacked out man who, like, blacked out's like an interesting thing. You like are aware of some stuff in the moment of being blacked out, but then when you're sober, you like have forgotten all that stuff. And this guy's in jail, and he's like, I was like driving. I think I hit somebody. I don't even really know. And yeah, totally. Guards took him. Fucking, manslaughter or first degree murder, depending on how you look at that. And he was blacked out. Like, went to the bar, got drunk, woke up in jail, guilty of killing somebody,
and didn't even know about it.
You would assume.
I mean, when you're blacked out drunk, you shouldn't be driving a car. But then again, you don't really have the ability to be able to, think rationally about that. So, I mean, you shouldn't be driving your car blacked out drunk.
It's called the penectomy. The removal of the penis. The removal of the testicles is castration. Makes eunuchs.
If he wanted to do that, he should have not done it, in the middle of the parking lot at the Further concert.
Seems like a private thing.
Yeah, or at least a more sterile environment. If you wanted to have it be in one of those operating theaters or whatever, have everybody watch, that's fine. But you're gonna get an infection if you take your dick off in the parking lot.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've seen some really fucked up people before. I've seen people try to swim in gravel, thinking it was water. I've seen people grab flaming logs. I've seen some things. Seen some people do some things. Yeah, I think that dying in the bathroom is the most fucked up I've ever known anyone to be.
And at a punk concert, like,
died.
You're trying to. It's punk rock. It's fast. It's energetic music, and you're gonna do heroin in the bathroom. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. If that's how you want to have a good time, just don't die while you're doing it.
The culmination of the good time is the death.
Yeah, you can't. That's the last one, then.
The only one.
Yeah,
it better be a really good time. People talk about that. They want to die. I want to die, having sex. I want to die in my sleep. I want to die happy. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to die. I want to die fearing for my life. I want to die so fucking scared. It's gonna be awesome. Like,
no. Colonel Bruce Hampton died on stage while he was playing a show, and that would be
who?
Colonel Bruce Hampton.
Could you please give me a quick rundown on this individual?
I don't have my tablet in front of me. I'll pop some information on the screen right here.
What did he do?
He plays a guitar player.
He was just a guy. He didn't do anything with anyone I would know.
He probably did, but I can't remember offhand right now.
He stood independent of.
He was, into the blues, jam, southern rock kind of vibe, and
was he a real colonel?
I don't think so.
Just said it.
He might have gotten his ranking from the same person that Colonel Sanders got his from. But he died on stage while he was playing, and
recently?
As a musician, that would be a pretty epic thing to do. But then you think about a couple hundred people in the crowd who paid to come see you, just watched you die. That's a bummer.
Sure. Did he die like he was like busting out a wicked solo with like a smile on his face and like aneurysm dead, or did he like?
I think he had a heart attack.
Those hurt. And everyone says that it hurts a lot, real bad.
Yeah.
Dying on stage. Wow. Oh man, what's that joke that I know? Oh man, did you hear about Willie Nelson? He died on stage last night. Everyone says, what? I say, yeah, he played On the Road Again.
Oh. That's a good one.
I can't believe that some people are, Willie Nelson is a good example. He's still alive.
He is still alive.
Some people have been going so hard for so long. And still going.
Willie Nelson is, he's still touring. And I got to see him play a couple years ago, and he was killer. It was everything you would expect. He had all the energy that in the world. It was a good time.
How old could he possibly be? Like, I think of him. I think of like Keith Richards as like those guys who are just never going to die. They're still alive. And like, I don't know, full body blood transfusions and like blood of virgins, and radioactive elements, all kinds of crazy things. It's a good name. I wonder if his friends call him William.
Bill Nelson. Yeah, he's got to be in his 70s.
84.
No way.
1933.
Dang. That's an old guy.
He's still touring. I wonder when he started touring. He's probably been touring the whole time.
Well, probably.
Didn't he He's famous. He's a famous American.
He is a famous American musician. Now, this is something I was thinking about on the car ride with Mary yesterday. There's some classic rock station was playing, The Who, one of the classic Who songs, and I was thinking to myself, are there going to be songs that come out of this generation of music that are going to like stand the test of time like that? I don't know many musicians that have hit songs that stick around for more than a couple years.
I think yes, and I think that yes, because when I was a kid growing up listening to Cool 94.5, the oldies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. This was in the 90s. The oldies were the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And they were songs that, you hear them on the radio. I would hear them in like Johnny Rockets and The Mall. It was like old-timey. It wasn't soft rock. It wasn't newer stuff. I'm pretty sure that I wasn't hearing like 10 songs from one artist. I was hearing like their one-hit wonder of the time.
Okay, yeah.
Just like what's on the radio from the best of the 70s, 80s, and 90s now. Like, that's one-hit wonder stuff.
It is one-hit wonder stuff, but there's songs that everybody knows, for like the Beatles is a good example. Like, everybody will know, certain songs from the Beatles, and
that's iffy. I know very little about the Beatles.
Sure.
What is popular remains popular to the majority, and those interests change over time.
Right. Okay. So I guess this is kind of what I'm driving at here. Limp Bizkit and all that rap rock that came out in the early 2000s. You don't really hear that on the throwback radio stations from that time.
There's a lot of cursing.
There's a lot of cursing, but there was when it was on the radio and it was popular in the first place. It's kind of niche music, for like angry teenage dudes.
Sure. I mean, I don't listen to the radio, so I don't know what's available on the radio right now.
I think that's a common thing. I don't think with XM radio and streaming phone, whatever, I don't think many people listen to the radio the same way they did before the internet.
Now my mind is drawn to most of the radio stations are owned by Clear Channel.
Yeah.
And so they're playing like a pablum of like repetitive stuff over and over that's approved. And what you're getting has been approved. And so as time goes by, more music is like judged to fit into that approving sector or whatever, like I don't know the music to Bringing Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake, but I know that that's a song that he did.
I know that one
because people talked about it enough, and it's I don't even, was that a decade ago? Was that last year?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to say that was at least 10 years ago. Yeah,
but that goes to show that like that guy has got that one song that's like 20 years from now, if someone whipped out like they're like I don't even know what that future tech is going to be, but they like put the thing on and they play the oldie, like the oldies hits of Bringing Sexy Back. I'm gonna be like, I do remember that. Brings me back to my youth.
Right.
I feel like when I was a kid and I'm listening to the oldies on the radio, the 50s and 60s, that music, like my parents were like little kids when they listened to that, but their parents were like our age-ish, 30s,
okay,
40s maybe. And it was like their like prime time to be digging on that music. And the reason it's on the radio is because it feels good, and they call it vintage because it's vintage.
And we're bringing sexy back.
Bringing sexy back. Yeah, what I was saying was, in 30 years from now, I'm still going to remember that song was a song, and I'll know it. That song could be playing on the
Commotion is real.
Commotion is real.
The dogs. You just got a new puppy over here.
I am watching I got a dog from my partner. She wants a dog. Bringing her a dog.
And that dog is very cute, but does not understand that dog fights are not appropriate during podcasts.
No, he doesn't know about podcasts yet.
He'll learn, though. He's a good boy.
He's learning. He's got a large head. Plenty of space. Put podcast knowledge in there.
Yeah.
As a dog.
Well, he can get a credit in there. We'll take a picture of him and put it in the thing.
I wish the dogs could talk sometimes. I'm sure everyone has wished that. No, I bet some people really wish their dogs couldn't talk.
Yeah. That
one guy. All right. Moving along.
Moving along. Well, anyway, okay, this is something else that I kind of wanted to talk about. this week, one of the lyricists for the Grateful Dead, John Barlow, passed away, and he was he helped found something called the Frontier Foundation.
Electronic Frontier Foundation.
Electronic Frontier Foundation, yeah. And it's kind of just it's there to help promote internet civil liberties and that kind of stuff. Been around since 1990, and he passed away recently. And in the aftermath of that, somebody had put a video. Have you seen this video of it's him lying, his body lying on a bed in a room full of people, and Bob Weir, who he wrote a lot of his lyrics for, was playing a song, and somebody recorded it and got out on the internet.
I saw it yesterday, and somebody sent it to me in a private message saying, "Family only, don't share."
That's for his family.
So, yeah, I did watch. I watched some. I mean, I didn't choose to watch it. So I heard it. I heard him singing the song. The story was being told that it was the event. And there was a quick flash of, I don't know, 20 or so people gathered around a dead body, and it was all fucking super creepy and weird. I did not like it at all.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, if that's how he wants to, if that's in accordance with his wishes, well, then that's fine. I think the releasing it on the internet should have kind of come with a disclaimer or something, that they had been given permission to do that from the family, or something like that. Because if they didn't have permission and it kind of just leaked out, that seems rather insensitive.
I don't know what he asked people to do after he was passed on with his dead body before it was interred, if in fact that was what he wanted. The song was Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote that song, right?
Yeah. He wrote the lyrics.
So, I don't even know. I feel like who am I to say what Bobby should or shouldn't have done?
Well,
it seems like a very private moment.
It does seem like a private moment, and it wasn't Bob Weir who put that video out.
No, yeah,
it wasn't him that recorded it,
but he played that song in front of 30 other people or whatever, also in front of him, when he could play that song to his friend by themselves, if it meant that for him. He's like, I want to play the song to you.
Yeah,
I want to play the song to you while everybody watches.
Or if his family asked him to come.
Right. I don't know any of the people.
I don't know any of the details either, which is kind of the point. It's all very strange. Hunter Thompson, for example, when he died, he wanted to get blasted out of a cannon. That's right. Fine. He didn't have any problem with that getting publicized or whatever. It's fine.
Right. I mean, I suppose some forethought goes into what you want done with your body, right? Like, and I would think that John Barlow thought more about the post-mortem consequences of his reality, like who's going to do what with me once I die?
Right.
Like, how much have I thought about that? Like, not barely at all. Like, maybe he thought quite a bit more. I mean, he was near death for a while too, so I'm sure that was on his mind. But like, yeah, people are going to record and people are going to use my words theoretically out of context after I've passed on, so I'm not alive to say, hey, that's not how I meant what I said in that moment. Like, it's the danger of passing. You're no longer able to defend yourself. Your legacy has to speak for itself. So you can't be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted everyone to do with that video, or like, I didn't want anyone to look at me. Who are all those people in there? Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd like to be the least burdensome on my friends and family once I die. There's got to be a way to just I don't know, put me in a milk jug and send me off to sea. I don't just whatever.
Yeah, how are you the least burdensome? I mean, to not be there would be the least burden, yeah?
Right. That's a good point.
But then, okay, so what's a burden? Like, you're not being there. So they're like, oh, I fucking miss you, and now, like, you're on my mind as they're dying.
I kind of meant more what you were driving at the beginning there. With
hospice and watching.
Yeah, I mean, if I keeled over right here, somebody in the house would have to pick up my dead corpse or call somebody to come out here.
No, we wouldn't pick you up. No, we would definitely call 911 and be like, that he died right there. I mean, if you right here, right now, like aneurysm, keeled over and died, yeah, definitely have to call 911 and be like, he fucking had it. We wouldn't like arrange your body and like hide all the weed and stuff. Like, you're dead. You look like you had it. I mean, I have personal experience watching people have aneurysms. I know I've never seen anyone die from an aneurysm, but I know that people can just drop dead from an aneurysm. So if you just died for no reason, I wouldn't think like he's been shot or
A sniper.
he's been poisoned. Like he just died. He died right here, and of course, you're not supposed to tamper because then if we moved you, then there would be the whole "why did you move?"
It would look iffy,
like suspicious. Exactly. Yeah. I wonder. What did they say? The perfect crime is a crime that no one knows has been committed. Not the perfect crime is one that you get away with,
right?
Because then it's known, like, oh, that dude stole $1 million, and no one knows where he is. It's like everyone knows you stole $1 million.
Everyone knows,
or everyone who's paying attention knows.
Sure.
Perfect crime is a crime that no one knows was committed.
That's interesting.
How many like crime shows been on TV? Like,
since forever.
How much have villains learned from the pursuit of justice displayed in television drama?
I think that they probably take that as something that's true, and they shouldn't necessarily. That's you watch these like making a murder shows and the serial killers that get away and whatnot, and that's what they should be paying attention to, because crime dramas are a good way to get yourself locked up.
I'm thinking of like all the CSIS shows where they like only got the guy because he left a fingerprint in the one place, and they like trace the boot size, and they like scan the car paint on the corner of the gate that he bumped on the way out, and like all these ways to avoid being caught. Like TV shows seem to show you all these ways to avoid being caught. And then like I've definitely read articles where people said we like leave out this one major step, and so they're not actually learning the things.
That would make sense, because you don't want to train people how to get away with major crimes.
A villain, like a criminal, never sat me down and was like, wear gloves when you do crimes so that no one has your fingerprints. I didn't figure that out on myself. I like saw that, and I think I saw it on TV before I read it in a book. That's a tough one for me to gauge.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of bone up on their criminal skills if they get locked up in jail.
I was just going to say, I went to rehab.
Sure, that's another one.
A fellow there told me if I'm ever going to do some dirt to duct tape up my shoes, wrap them in duct tape, because they'll leave not the bottom of my shoe prints.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, your shoes are looking a little thin right now, so
shoes
you
are like
might
5
be able
years
to get away
old.
with it right now.
I think they were like golf shoes, right? I mean, we discussed this because they had this super crazy tread on them, and it's like all but warded away. I shoe glued them once. They're good though. I haven't found another pair of shoes I wanted to get to replace these. These are just some sneakers, FJs. I wanted to talk about incidental music. You know what I mean, Kyle?
Why don't you say what you mean? Say what you mean so that we all know.
Well, what I think of when I say the phrase incidental music is when I'm walking down the street and I'm not listening to music, and my pace causes my keys to jingle against my leg in a certain rhythm. Right? Like I didn't choose it. I could go faster or slower, but it's whatever I'm comfortable with them. But like my body is like making these sounds. Like my footsteps are making like a people talk about the gallop is like a certain rhythmic pattern. Incidental music of I thought earlier I could hear the computer. We talked about hearing the computer, and it's got like a sort of cyclical hum that goes into it, and it's like a certain measure, and like I'm not gonna say like bird song is incidental music. They're definitely choosing to do that, but like the when you're drilling something or when you're hammering something, those are like repetitive sounds that like when repeated enough become rhythmic.
Sure. Yeah, like when if you ever under a tarp or something and it's raining, you hear a couple different kinds of patterns of rhythm going there. A couple, depending on where the rain's falling from. You have the overall rain, and then the different patterns of rhythm come from dripping off branches or whatever.
You're hearing theoretically hundreds of raindrops. Well, maybe dozens of raindrops at the same time, but they're all like slightly tonally off because of the tautness of the tarp as like the head, the percussive instrument which is being struck.
Yeah.
Right. So you have all these beats falling in there, and it's like in the span of 1 second I can hit a drum at the beginning of that second or at the end, right? Like
Sure.
there's just enough time in there. And so all these beats are like hitting, like so many notes are hitting in the span of 1 second, and like your brain is left to choose the rhythm that you hear.
Sure. Yeah. They call it polyrhythm when you have, different beats per minute or different, patterns of rhythm that go over one another, but then there's an overlying sound that you hear that isn't, super chaotic, even though what the instruments are doing is chaotic. I'm also thinking of the movie Requiem for a Dream. And every time they get high or whatever, there's this, and it's very rhythmic, and it goes in step to all of the motions that their bodies are taking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself, hearing that when somebody's maybe preparing a cup of coffee or something in the kitchen. They'll put the thing down and they'll pick up the other thing, and it's not intentional, but my brain hears a rhythm. Like when people look at an outlet and see a face or something, not everybody sees it that way. When I hear certain things, my brain is definitely more inclined to put it into a category of musical expression.
I'll wake up in the morning, and sometimes there'll be music playing downstairs, and I won't hear it clearly. And that's not true. I don't want to say here. I will not hear the song that is playing for the song that it is. I will, my brain will hear a completely different rhythm, and the notes are different, and I can even hear that my brain even knows that it's wrong, and is trying to twist it or figure out why I'm hearing it wrong, and then I'm listening to Casey Jones or something. Sure. I don't know why I didn't hear that before. And then sometimes I'll try to not figure it out and just ride with I don't know what song this is, but it should be not this, and so I can tell that it's weird, and I'm just gonna try to understand why I'm hearing it weirdly right now. What's it called for mishearing music?
I don't know. There's definitely a word for it. When I'm in that situation and I hear something, most of the time I try to make sense of it. Like you're saying, what song is that? But when I find out it's not what I thought it was, or when I actually hear it, it's a little startling almost. Like a jump scare almost.
It's strange to know that I have the capability and have repeatedly completely misheard something to the point where it wasn't someone was saying words to me and I heard different words. It was the way the words sounded coming out of their mouth was totally different.
How many times did you think you knew the words to a song and you sing it, and then you read the lyrics later and you realized you were saying something that was wrong?
Absolutely. It makes me think of how, I don't know, seemingly impossible it is to wake up and look at you and be like, who the fuck is that? What is it? Oh, it is Kyle. My visual thing is never mixed up like that. However, in the first podcast we did discuss, you're driving down the road and you're like, it's a guy on the side of the road, but really it's two sticks and a rock and a dead VCR. Yeah. All a mile apart, cleverly arranged to trick your eye, and then you never see it again. So there's that auditory illusion. Something. There is a medical condition where you cannot recognize familiar faces, but I can't remember what that's called.
Oh, that's strange.
It's similar to aphasia, which is the loss of ability to speak while having previously had the ability to speak.
You just go mute.
Yes, mute implies that you could never speak.
Oh,
I think.
All right. Well, that I guess wraps it up for this week's episode. Thanks everybody for listening and subscribing. We've got a baker's dozen subscribers at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased by that.
It's a powerful number.
Yes, it is, absolutely. So yeah, until next time, we will see you later.
Peace.